Hey there, it's Anna. I'm just sitting down to actually film a little video about some seeds and some planting stuff, but I also thought it would be kind of fun to just sort of start doing some more like vlog style kind of videos, just to sort of share what's going on in the garden. I realize like with garden tours it's super fun to see everything, but things are changing so quickly, so like day to day everything is just changing, and there's so much that I want to show you and things that I want to talk about, so I thought I would just start to do a little bit more of like a garden vlog, and definitely let me know in the comments if this is something that you like, because I just love to talk about gardening stuff and I want to show you like everything that's going on. And I do share stuff over on Instagram stories, but there's something fun about capturing it in the whole video form. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think. But anyways, I'm just sitting out in the garden. We were actually supposed to have a ton of rain this weekend, but it's gotten sunny out, so you can hear maybe there's like neighbors and stuff and people's air conditioners running. I apologize for all that noise, but I just came out and I did up some twine on the arch trellis for the mandevillas. It's interesting, I remember in the summer they grew really fast. They're such a beautiful flower, and I think once they take off for the season they're gonna grow really quickly, but right now they're kind of taking their time. I've been a little surprised at how slow it's been with them growing, but we've had a bit cooler temperatures than we usually do this time of year, and it's also been pretty rainy. So for us, I'm in zone 7A, I'm in Virginia, and typically like this time of year we're well into the 80s, hot. We do get a lot of rain, we always get a lot of rain, but really like 80s is pretty normal for us. We tend to get really hot, humid summers. And this spring has been kind of chilly. It's been cooler, we've had cooler nights. It's been like highs in the 60s, which is a big difference. So I've definitely noticed that in the garden, that things are kind of slowing down. I do think I'm at the point now where I'm ready to stake my tomatoes. So they're over here in this tomato bed. I'll kind of show you what they look like. These are all determinate style tomatoes, so none of them are going to get super huge, but they are starting to lean just a little bit, and I am getting ready. We're going to be going out of town for the next like week, and I don't want the people who are coming to stay and take care of the house to have to worry about doing anything with the tomatoes or having the tomatoes fall over. This one is actually, now I'm remembering, this is how it goes. I'm remembering that this one is not a determinate tomato. This is, oops. Oh, look at this. Even this like spent bloom from the mandevilla is so gorgeous. I love that color. So beautiful. This is the Juliet tomato, and it's like a Roma style tomato, and it is an indeterminate. And now I'm remembering the plan was to kind of grow it up along the trellis here. So what I'm going to do is just put a stake in and maybe like put the stake kind of on an angle to start getting this plant to go over toward the arch trellis. That seems like that'll work. And then the rest of them are pretty much determinate style. Some of them are going to be taller than others, but I feel like a stake always helps a tomato. And then I just cleared out all of the carrots and stuff that I had in here, and I just wanted to like give some air, because I started to notice, especially with all this rain that we've been getting, like some of this fungus and stuff getting on the tomatoes. So I'm gonna go get the garden stakes. Let's get, I have a couple of these shorter ones, which I don't think I need like the 4-foot ones. I think the 3-foot ones should be fine. Okay. Let's go take these over. Just to give them a little bit of something to hold on to. I feel like that's always just like a good idea. And then I'm just gonna get like a tiny piece of twine. I usually just use twine because it's, you know, jute twine, it's biodegradable, and I just usually tie my things up with that so that if it falls down in the garden, I don't have to like really worry about it being stuck there forever. Oop, and I need one more. Okay, so I got the Juliet tomato here. And like just a little bit of twine. And I keep it like super loose, like I don't tie it, you know, very tight. There's enough branches on this tomato that like it's not gonna go anywhere. And then I just slanted this over so it's actually touching the arch trellis, so that should hopefully train it right over. Also, do you see these in the back? This is why I want to do kind of like the garden vlogs, because I just want to show you everything. Like these alliums are stunning. I saw them on an impulse at the grocery store and I just had to purchase them because they were so fun and I wasn't even sure what was going to happen. But this is like the best, oh my gosh, just like the best plant to have this time of year, something like this coming up. And look, there's already like little bugs on it. I want more. I think it'd be fun to fill this whole area in with a few more, so that next year it's just kind of full of these while I wait for like the zinnias that are in that pot and the phlox right there. Like that's not blooming or doing anything right now. Black-eyed Susans aren't doing anything. So this is, look at the little bee on it. This is such a great thing to have in your perennial garden. How fun. Hey there, we are back in the garden. It's the next day. It's pretty rainy. I don't know if you can hear that. Totally got all the rain that we were supposed to get yesterday today. So we've been having some pretty big storms coming through. I wanted to just come out and put in a few last seeds into the Greenstalk here. I've put a few things into it. I've got a pepper in the top there. You can kind of see I actually planted some like dwarf sunflowers into it. I've got a few petunias growing, but there's also a lot of summer veggies that are just like not really doing very well, and they're kind of done, like some arugula that's starting to flower and things like that. So I figured I would just put in a few seeds. Everything's kind of wet out here, so I may have to go inside. Yeah, let me show you what I'm going to put in here. I'm just going to step inside where it's dry. Okay, so many seeds. Some of these I need to think about, just make sure I don't need to replant. I did my cucumber bed and some things came up really well, like the space, let's see, the salad bush cucumbers, they came up really, really well. But like the Space Masters haven't germinated, so I think I'm just gonna pop a couple more of those in and just check some of the other seeds and make sure that they're good to go. And then in the Greenstalk, these are some of the things I'm contemplating putting in. Some summer spinach in like the half that's sort of by the, I guess like by the house. It gets a little bit less sun, so it's more shade. So I thought that summer spinach might be kind of fun just to put in a couple of these. I didn't really eat any of it last year, but you know, it's just kind of fun to grow. And then some nasturtiums, this dill, which is like one of my favorite dills because it's a really bushy variety, so really, really nice. Chamomile, I'm actually going to throw some of this in the tomato bed because I'm just putting chamomile everywhere. And then I thought I would try some watercress, kind of similar to the summer spinach. I would put the watercress, oh, this is Mayday. Had to get her out of the seeds. I thought I would put maybe some watercress in the Greenstalk. Oh my goodness, losing my train of thought. And maybe some salad bush cucumbers. I thought, you know, maybe, wait, these are the salad more. I want the salad bush. Put some of those in, and then some nasturtiums, some zinnias, a little licorice basil. And then around the bottom, I thought I would put some squash, so some yellow squash, trying to keep the cat out of here, some patty pan squash, and some just like zucchini, maybe some more basil if I have room, because more basil everywhere, maybe a zinnia or two at the top, just to see how that goes. Okay, chamomile in case I need it, and then what else? I don't know. I may put some of this in the back of the tomato bed. I may just plant a couple head of amaranth. I grew amaranth last year and I really liked it. It was so pretty, and I'm kind of missing amaranth. This is what happens. I always just plant so many seeds in different beds and things, but I think I'm gonna do it. We'll see. I'm gonna head back out in the garden. See you later. Okay, if you are a super organized gardener, or you know kind of like how this all is like best practices, you're gonna be a little stressed out by the fact that I'm not gonna be labeling any of these or even really worrying about any of that. This year, I've got a toddler and I'm so busy. I barely even have time to like get out in the garden, honestly. So I've just been like staying super relaxed. Like, I will put in seeds. I know what seeds I have and what seeds, you know, I've sort of planted, and then I'm just gonna like see what happens with the rest of it and not stress out about trying to label everything and make everything perfect. It's not ideal, and I probably will regret it in the sense that I'll wish that I, you know, knew like what I have in certain places, but this year is just one of those years, and yeah, it's too much for me. Okay, I'm lost track of maybe some of what I planted in some of those cells. I hope I planted something in everything. I didn't end up planting the summer spinach. I just like couldn't figure out a spot that I wanted for that. So no summer spinach in the Greenstalk, but maybe I'll find another place for some. I'll kind of see. It's a fun plant, and I would like to have some in the garden. That would be nice. But yeah, I don't know. So the next thing I need to do is just pop a couple amaranth in here. I actually didn't end up doing the tall zinnias at the top of the Greenstalk either. That seemed like too much. And a tiny bit of chamomile over in the tomato bed. Just like a light little bit of chamomile just to add some light fluffy flowers like in and around the tomatoes. I did do, I sowed a bunch of dwarf basil in and around the tomatoes the other day, and then I thought just a couple little amaranths would make it look sort of whimsical in there and just sort of pretty and fun. So I'm gonna do that, and then, chamomile, and then a couple amaranth. And then what else am I planting today? I'm gonna check on those cucumbers, and then I need to harvest some Swiss chard because it's looking beautiful and I want to put it in some smoothies later, so I need to do that. Okay, look at this Swiss chard. I have a whole rainbow. This is the giant fork, which is this really pretty like white stemmed, and I'm just gonna pick out a few of these nice big stems. And then I have this yellow, and then we have a red. Get a couple of the red stems. And then last at the end is pink. I just came in here and thinned it out a little bit, but it's kind of nice when you have it really thick like this, because you can just come in and take some stems, like some of the bigger leaves. Personally, for like salads, I actually like Swiss chard when the leaves are a little smaller, but I also have never been able to get like that big, beautiful Swiss chard rainbow. I totally have aspirations of having that like picturesque, Instagram perfect Swiss chard rainbow with all the rainbow colors, and that's kind of what I'm trying to get at here by growing all these different colors. And so I got a lot of leaves. Some of them get big enough to kind of like get that Swiss chard look. So I am gonna probably, with this next kind of crop here, let a few of these plants get really big and get some of those really big thick leaves, and then I will let you know if I can get that Instagram picture and get that perfect look. Oh, the neighbor's air conditioner just turned on. Anyways, I'm gonna take these back inside and I'll probably make a smoothie out of them. So I'm back inside. I just rinsed off the Swiss chard and I put it in here in the blender, and then I also put in some frozen blueberries, a banana, a little bit of frozen strawberries, just like, you know, from the bag, and then some cranberry juice just to add a little bit of liquid to this. It's definitely like an afternoon smoothie, something to get some veggies and berries into my toddler. But I also may add a little bit of yogurt. I usually would add like a plain yogurt or a vanilla yogurt, but this is all I have right now are these strawberry yogurts, and yeah, my daughter doesn't really like them, so I think I'm gonna throw a couple of those in here as well and just blend this up for her and myself for this afternoon. But I just wanted to share with you like one way that you can use Swiss chard. I've been using it in smoothies just like I would spinach or something. You know, you can kind of throw spinach into a smoothie and it's like nothing. Swiss chard has kind of been working for me the same way. All right, and now just have a little glass, a nice berry smoothie. I'll do the taste test. It's good. I definitely think I would have liked it better with like a vanilla or a plain yogurt, but my daughter's in there eating it, so she likes it. Another thing that I'll do with any leftovers is freeze them into popsicles. Smoothies make great at-home popsicles if you have like one of those little popsicle makers, and so I've been doing that a ton recently with these smoothies, and it's just so nice to be able to bring in something like from the garden. And sometimes with some of those crops like Swiss chard, you know, unless you make a lot of salads, which I do eat a lot of salads, but you know, you can put them on sandwiches, you can put it in wraps and salad. Swiss chard is one that kind of like spinach, you can wilt into things, but smoothies are just such a great way to get some greens and get some greens into a toddler too. Yeah, so cheers. We are back out in the garden. It is a new day and beautiful and sunny. I found these little toys on Amazon. They're like kind of like those like Kongs that they have for dogs, where you put like a treat in there. But I think I'm going to harvest some catnip and fill these up for the kitties. I think they will really love it. So the catnip is still pretty small, but I feel like with most things like this, if you trim them, you know, a little bit, then they branch out, and so pinching them is probably a good thing. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this. I think the cats are gonna love this, and stick it in there. See what the kitty cats think of that, but just something kind of fun. And yeah, I definitely put the catnip in its own container because I think it's kind of in the mint family, so with those it's generally a good policy to keep them in a container or in something. So yeah, just put it in a container so it can't spread and take off like crazy. I wanted to move you around here. Look at all these beautiful flowers. Everything's looking so nice. Look how the mandavillas have already taken off up this trellising system. I set this up like what, 2 days ago, and here we are. They're already just making their way up, which is so encouraging to see, and they're just so stunning. Also, this coleus here is so beautiful. I love that color. Elephant ear is getting bigger. Everything is just taking off. So excited to see how this all just explodes over the next few weeks. Not a whole lot other than that I really need to get done today in the garden. Just sort of watching as everything starts to grow. We got the zinnias taking off, little zucchinis coming up, basil seedlings everywhere. It's just such a pretty day out in the garden. So nice. I'm just so happy to have some sunlight. After all that rain, we really needed this. Good morning. I'm out in the garden just taking a look at things. I wanted to wrap up this vlog today, kind of finish up the week as we get ready for vacation here. So a couple things that I'm gonna do getting ready for vacation. So I came out here earlier in the morning and I really watered the garden pretty heavily. I'm gonna water it one more time before we go, really deep water, and then I think we're gonna get rain. If it was like July, like we've gone on vacation over July when it's really hot here, I would make sure I had like all the containers set up on a drip system for the people that are house sitting so that they could just like turn it on and water everything. But I don't think, you know, it's not really that hot, and you know, maybe you know, she can come out and like water stuff like maybe once during the week. But I think if it gets a really good water, we've had so much rain that everything's gonna be pretty fine. Actually, a lot of my containers this year are self-watering containers, which is kind of nice too. I'm also gonna go ahead and probably deadhead a few things and just clean stuff up so that even some flowers that are looking good now I know are gonna be like done during the week. So I'm just gonna deadhead them early so that the garden is like fresh and trimmed, and then it can just grow this next week and I don't have to worry about, you know, stuff getting dead and gross while I'm gone. Like these marigolds in here in this bed they're looking kind of sad. They're definitely on their last legs, so I'd rather just like cut them now, and then while I'm gone they can, you know, regenerate and be ready with new blooms when I get back. I'm also just taking like a final look at these alliums because they are perfection. I am in love. I want all of the alliums everywhere in my garden. Oh my goodness. And then the other thing I'm gonna do before we leave is fertilize everything. So I'll show you what I'm doing as far as fertilizer. Coming up with a good fertilizer routine is something that I'm really interested in. I am still not settled on one particular fertilizer that's my favorite. I kind of just keep trying out new things until I find something that I really love. This year I'm doing some fish fertilizer. I've been putting this mostly on all of my veggies, and I like it because it's just for organic gardening and it's kind of easy, like you're not going to burn things with it. It's nice like that. And then I got the same, so this is the same company, I got their More Blooms for my flowering plants, because for like, not the edibles, but like the petunias and the super petunias, those kind of annuals want big time food, and you know, you need a bloom booster for those. So I thought I would just try out their bloom booster and see how it goes. I've watered them with it a couple times so far, and so far everything's doing okay. These are water soluble fertilizers. I have tried doing non-water soluble fertilizers, like ones that you just like put on. I don't find that they work as well, and I just, yeah, for me it's like something that I can just put into the watering can every week and water. That's what I want. So I'm doing this now a couple days earlier than I normally would, but gotta get it done before before we go. Okay, so they always put instructions on how much you're supposed to put in. I just kind of eyeball it. I have to say, with the fish fertilizer, it just, boy, the smell of this one is brutal. It smells so bad. You know, I like that it's organic, but sometimes those synthetic ones are just so much easier to deal with. They smell so much better. Yeah. And this is why I like a good water soluble fertilizer, because you just go in and water your plants and it's pretty simple. I do, if I can, like to make sure that I have, I'll put a little bit in the Greenstalk. I do like to make sure that I have watered the soil a little bit before I fertilize. That way it can really absorb the water and the fertilizer, and it doesn't just like run off. There we go. Well, that is the garden all watered and fertilized and deadheaded, looking a little bit less colorful, but I know when I get back from vacation it's just going to be beautiful and exploding with growth. So hopefully in the next vlog I'll be able to show you all about what happened while I was gone. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye bye.